Hey guys, Ryan Gardner, Re-Education of a Nation. So, there's a big debate going on right now about gun laws. And so, being confronted by someone the other day about gun laws, I will say that y'all are missing the point. A lot of us are missing the complete, total, and utter point about gun laws. You see, mass shootings aren't new. I'm not justifying anything. I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be some type or some means of regulations. I completely agree with that. I believe there should be background checks, universal. The red flag laws I have a problem with because of how vague they are, and I specifically have a problem with how vague Virginia's new proposed gun laws are. Now, let me explain something to you. Just like the so-called opioid crisis America had or has, there was crack and heroin for decades in the African American community, and no one did a thing about it except when it was time to do something about it, it became the war on drugs. Now, let's look at this from a different perspective. Now that there's an opioid, a prescription drug problem, which has really been around for existence. I can remember stories of urban kids, mommy and daddy gone and having pill parties where they dump all the pills in a bowl and everybody just takes whatever they want and the effects are whatever you get, mixed with alcohol. So let's not act like this is new also. Number two, the mass shooting situations. While they are sad, it did not become a problem until Columbine. Mass shootings have been happening in the African American community for decades. And now it's a problem because kids are going into predominantly white schools and shooting them up. This is not new. Kids in the inner city of New York, major metropolitan areas that have gang violence have had gun violence. And these are also, by definition of what we're saying now, mass shootings. So let's not get it twisted. The laws that they're imposing right now are not designed for anyone else except for blacks. No one had a problem with 2A until the Black Panther Party started open carrying and utilizing their constitutional rights to bear arms. And for some time in our history, Native Americans were not allowed to own guns also. So let's not get this twisted. Hey, Ryan, how are you doing? I'm sick and tired of people shoving down my throat that I should not own a gun because of all these other wonderful things. But I'm going to tell you where I stand on it, and I'm going to leave it at that. Until you want to have a conversation that is both intelligent, free of racial bias, and free of social economic bias, don't say anything to me about giving up my guns. At one point in time, owning a gun was the only protection an African American had from the Ku Klux Klan and any other bigoted racial organization in this country. You see, when you're sitting there agreeing to that, what you're telling me is that, oh, Ryan, all is right with the world. We don't want to keep we don't want to keep the guns. We just want to keep people from having them. The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, the people who are going to turn over their guns are not the law-abiding citizens. I mean, the people who aren't going to turn over their guns aren't the law-abiding citizens. They are the quote-unquote evildoers, the criminals, the crooks, whatever you want to call them. These are the ones who are not going to abide by the law. So what you're doing is you're setting us up to be prey for those who are violating the law. You don't like a gun? Don't own one. You don't want to buy an AR-15? Don't buy one. You don't want to support the military? Don't buy one. Fact is, it's a constitutional right. But I do agree with universal background checks. I do agree with, hey, if you've got a domestic violence situation, hey, I get that too. I've been on both sides of all this, and I've seen this. I've had family members who've had domestic violence situations, and they knew the person owned a gun. But, like all laws, those who suffer socio-economically, those who are of a minority distinction, will be penalized faster and swiftly than those who are not. I'll give you a case in point. Does anybody remember the little thing that happened in the Midwest where they basically were breaking the law, carrying weapons on a federal installation, a federal park, and y'all didn't disarm shit. But Virginians and anybody else not thinking wants us to hand over our guns or be penalized. The red flag laws are designed to attack veterans. And if you do not believe me, look at the vague wording. The mental health one, designed to attack veterans. You can be a perfectly sane and calm person, but why are we ignoring the fact that most of these shootings have a backdoor issue? Why are we ignoring the fact that no one said anything until it became a race-based issue, meaning that white kids were shooting up schools? You have not seen, and if any, a black Latino child, maybe one I think so far, going into a school and shooting up the whole school. You have yet to see one planning to bomb or destroy a school. The Boston Marathon bomber used pressure cookers. Are y'all going to ban pressure cookers next? Stop trying to infringe upon people's constitutional right. Black African Americans are just starting to be able to use them it's just unchecked. Y'all are killing me with this. Every time some culture moves forward in this country, and what's appalling is blacks are not looking at it in the proper context. You're feeling like all is level, and it is not. It has never been, and nor can I see it being level for the foreseeable future. Because, Ryan, yes, because you have to think about it. How did we grow up? And look at I dare you to go back and do the research about how many kids were killed in the inner city, and they didn't consider them mass shootings. It was just blacks killing blacks. You're not understanding the ramifications. This is one of the things where you should not be involved with if you don't support it. You want to talk about a stray bullet? A stray bullet can come from anybody. What about a stray car? I guarantee you more people are dying via texting and driving and alcohol-related deaths and opioid deaths than by guns. I have served in the military, and Ryan can tell you by first-hand account. Go to a third world country and see how they took over the country. Go to one. It's because the citizens are unarmed. Go to one. It's because the powers that be put laws like this into effect. To me, all I see is another way to incarcerate blacks, which have now increased the number of concealed carry permits and buying AR-15s, or what you want to call an assault rifle, which is bullcrap. And I'm tired of people telling me, oh, I shouldn't be a pretty... Well, okay, so it's okay for you to sit there and tell me about sexuality, sex changes. It's okay for you to sit there and shove down my throat in the modern media about something that is still entitled in the Constitution and Bill of Rights. But when it comes to something you're afraid of because it's just a hot topic, we're supposed to be what? Silent? You ask any Marine. Ask any Marine. There's a Marine general that said this is going to be a police state. And they're like, well, why would you say it? Because that's what y'all paid me to do in other countries. Anybody that's seen it. So don't sit there and give me this, oh, 2A this, 2A that. Shut up. Until blacks, minorities are treated on an equal level by social economic standard and by the laws, and not vague laws. You've got black people still in jail for an ounce of weed. Denied due process. And y'all are telling me to support a Second Amendment law? Are you serious right now? Are you damn serious? We just got the right to fucking vote. 1965. African Americans just got the right to vote and have it enforced. And now all of a sudden that, we want to take away guns. Well, you didn't care about the problem when it was happening in South Central Los Angeles, when it was happening in Baltimore. You didn't care about the problem when it was happening in Chicago. You didn't care about the problem when it was happening in downtown Richmond. You didn't care about any of these problems. A mass shooting is more than one person being shot. How many times has that happened over the past 10 to 20 years, and it wasn't considered that until Columbine happened? There's a mental health issue going on in the culture in this country, and they're being babied and saved. The disparity between laws by blacks and whites in this country is still astounding because, like they said, you can sit there and have PETA kill 20 puppies, but if Michael Vick goes and dog fights them, oh, it's a different law because theirs was humane. Michael Vick's was for profit. Terrorism is terrorism, no matter how you want to defend it. The problem is places like PETA are giving money to politicians. Michael Vick paid his time. He did what he was supposed to do. And guess what? Because he's a convicted felon, he cannot own a dog because of the crime, and he cannot own a firearm. You have to look at what it's about. There is nothing out here that cannot be used to hurt someone. If you want to fix the problem going on in your neighborhoods that African Americans and minorities have been dealing with for decades, start with the mental health. Because that's where it's going. That's what it is. I can guarantee you can go back through news feeds and look at the kid that shot up the school. Shot up the movie theater dressed like the Joker. Are you serious? And that's why I do not understand why minorities are even on the side of 2A. Because against 2A, because once this this plan happens, your asses are going to be the first ones that are going to be penalized for it. You're talking about a kid can't even own a gun or hold a gun. So we're going back to stupid laws now. You can die for your country at 18 or 16 or 17, but you can't own a gun when you're 18 or 21. Are you serious? Are y'all freaking killing me? See, you're letting the media feed this narrative that, all gun owners are crazy. And I had someone tell me the other day that there are people parading their AR-15s wherever they go. Well, it's the right to bear arms. It's the right to open carry. People who violate that, of course, break the law. That's what you get. But people who are living by the rights of their constitutional rights should not be penalized or bombarded. You want to bombard me with sexuality and what I should be addressing and liking, but you don't want to see me exercising my constitutional rights. So you can have the right to express yourself and change your body and do what you want to do sexually, but I can't do what I want to do carrying a weapon. And what also is not fair is the number of crimes that have been stopped because the person that the crime was being committed against was a weapon carrying citizen and a legal weapon carrying citizen. Let us not forget that there is some good that comes out of this. Yes, I don't feel well. Yes, my head hurts. Yes, my sinuses are horrible. I just ran out to get something and I'm so sick and tired of seeing people going off about this. Stop taking away what you don't use. Think about that. You're going to give it away because you don't use it. So now I have to change my life and my beliefs because you don't do something. You know, something else happened in this country that was similar. Because one culture supposedly didn't agree to something, and another culture did. They forced it down their throats. You know what that something was? Giving blacks the right to vote. That's what that something was. Food for thought, guys. Food for thought. Save 2A, protect 2A. Because if you don't, a law unused is a law that you won't have anymore. All these people sitting there back and thinking they're equal, you're not. They just use you to get what they want. And after they get what they want, you're going to be right there behind them. A victim. Laws are not made for law-abiding citizens. They're made to protect criminals. Now, I said it exactly how I meant it. Because a criminal can come in your house or someone who's trying to hurt you. And if you don't have, they have more rights than you do. Why is that? How can I commit a crime and then sue you for getting hurt on your property? When y'all fix those laws, I guarantee you a lot more will get fixed. When y'all fix mental health, a lot more will get fixed. Like I said, do the research and the math. Re-Education of a Nation, Ryan Gardner. Thanks with this, not with these. Peace. Protect 2A.